So now we're on to the hip flexor march. And let's say you're having just a little bit of trouble, again, with your left hip. Seems to be the common trend. So we're going to give you the release, stretch, and train to try and clean that up a bit. So the first thing that you're going to do is do the release. As we discussed before, if you're having weakness here, my mind goes to releasing back here, kind of release that inhibition. So we're going to do the glute max this time, similar to the piriformis, just a little bit closer to the sacrum. So I'll stay in the same position. Here's your sacrum, here's this outside hip bone, and the piriformis was dead in the middle. For this, we're going to go just off the sacrum. So it's along that same line, just a little bit closer to the bony sacrum. I'll show you that. Here, feels really good. And it's no different from the piriformis, same thing. I'll show you a little way to spice it up at the end. First, 3 slow breaths, 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out, in through the nose, out to the mouth, works really well. Then you can do some windshield wipers, 3 to 5 of those. You can do some nice, easy here. And then, if you want to spice it up a little bit, you can take this and just bring this a little bit higher. Good. Even better if you can do it actively. A little bit of overpressure. Cool. See how that feels? So that's your release. The stretch, we're going to use the world's greatest stretch, but just part of it. So sometimes people have trouble with hip flexion because they can't get their joint into hip flexion all that well. So you have muscles and you have joints. Sometimes that joint is what's inhibiting that and giving a little bit of pushback. So we're going to put you like this. You can see it pretty well here. The world's greatest stretch, if you're familiar with it, kind of looks like this. It's got a bunch of different parts. We're just going to focus on this front leg. So I'm out here. I'm taking this elbow, putting myself out to the side a little bit, as you can see. I don't want to pinch that hip. I don't want to put any more stress through there. So then you're going to take this elbow, and you're going to inhale, and then exhale. Drag down. Inhale, exhale. So first hang out in that position for about 3 breaths, then add those on. The last thing you can do, you can get this down, you can get this elbow wherever it's comfortable, depends on where your flexibility level is, and then bury this big knuckle into the ground and just gently try and rock that knee out towards the side, 3 to 5 times. So that's the stretch. The last one's the training, and not to sound unoriginal, but the test becomes the treatment. If you had trouble getting your hip flexors going in the hip flexor march, let's get your hip flexor going in hip flexor march. But know that it's going to be different because we just did a release, then we did a stretch, so it's going to fire a little bit better. You want to make sure your brain knows that, so it lets you keep that. If you don't do the train at the end, it's like you just wrote a whole paper and then forgot to click save. So here's how this is going to look. Round the feet, where the laces would go. Here, bury everything into the ground. Set those ribs, bury that heel, and then drive that up. So we would do the same thing. For this, we'll pretend like it was the right hip. We'll go right, left, right, pause, right, left, right, pause. Do that 3 to 5 times. Double hit the side that needs it. Should help you out.